Good afternoon, everyone. This is Bremster, and today I'm coming to you with a puzzle that I've deliberately chosen because the Polarizing Sudoku Pack was released yesterday. Um, this is a puzzle by XeonRisq called Interference Pattern, and it is a puzzle that he came up with just a day before the pack was released, so well too late to get it into the pack. And this features one of the constraints that we we kind of debuted in the pack, but it wasn't our creation. So this is a constraint we saw that came from a puzzle by Maff. I've featured one of his puzzles before. I can't remember which one it was. And I think it may have been, was it the one I did with Scott Strossal? It could have been the one I did with Scott Strossal as a double. And we we liked the look of the constraint considering we were playing with parity in this pack, because they're basically parity dots. And because we did a couple of puzzles with it in the pack, so people may not be familiar with it, I did want to do a puzzle doing this. So I'd actually created a puzzle to do a video on, and then Xeon turned around this morning to me and said, have a look at this puzzle. And I said, yeah, this one, I'm going to do this one. I'll probably do mine in a few days, but I'm going to do this one. So, yes, the Polarizing Sudoku Puzzle Pack. Yeah, 50 puzzles. I'm not going to go through all the details now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to throw a link to both the pack and to the video which is the introduction and explains all of the details in the pack, the difficulties, absolutely everything, who's involved into the in a different video, and I'll provide a link to the pack as well. So both below and above and wherever good links are found. So onto this puzzle, Interference Pattern by XeonRisq. So normal Sudoku rules apply. In every box, in every row, and in every column, the digits 1 to 9 must be placed without repetition. Then we get to the interesting part of this, which is the way parity dots work. Is they look a bit like Kropke dots, and it's really easy when solving these to get them confused for Kropke dots and think that they've got Kropke relationships, but they're quite simple. It is cells separated by a black diamond must have the same parity. So if one of these cells is odd, so if this was a 5, then, which it can't be, but if this was a 3, then this would have to be a 1, 3, 5, 7, or 9. And in this case, it couldn't be a 3 or a 9, but this would have to be a 1, a 5, or a 7, because they have to share a parity, odd, even parity. If there is a white diamond, then the neighboring cells must have a different parity. That's it. That's how they work. And then you've got these purple lines, which are Renban lines, which must contain a set of consecutive non-repeating digits in any order, which means I'll pick one outside of a box. If this was a 3, then on this line I could put, say, a 4 and a 5. That's a consecutive set, or I could change this 5 to a 2, and that would still be a consecutive set. I could not make this a 6 because that is not a consecutive set. 3, 4, 6 does not work. So that's the way this goes. Let's give this a shot. Now, this puzzle had been recommended to me, but the question is, can I do it? So surely we've got to start up here. So what we know, and I'm going to use my normal colors and then change them if I need to, is these are all the same parity. So these will either all be odd or all be even, and I can't have 3 of the same on a Renban line, because if you pick any 3 digits on a Renban line, like that, then 3, 4, 5, there is an even in the middle. 4, 5, 6, there is an odd in the middle. So this will be the middle digit and will be different. Now, what about this? We've already got 3. These two are the same because it goes A, B, A, or sort of, if we think of it as sort of yellow, blue, yellow, this could go yellow, blue, yellow, or blue, yellow, blue. But these are the same, but they couldn't be odd. Oh. But yeah, these could be the same, but if they were odd, these can't be yellow, because if these are yellow, then they can't be odd because I'd end up with too many odds, and they can't be even because I'd end up with too many evens. There's only 4 evens. So these have to be blue, and then this has to be yellow. And this runs out because I can put yellow or blue or 2 blue. Can't put 2 yellow. Ah, that runs out. So I'm going to send those off into a different color. Let's just use grey and grey. And possibly start somewhere else. So let's now start up here and see what I get. So these 3 are the same. So let's say that those are blue. And these 3 are the same. Let's say that they are yellow. Now we know that because they couldn't be the same. Because if they were the same, then I would end up with 6 of something, and that's just blatantly untrue. So this now has to be blue. These have to be yellow because they have to be different to blue. I can't have 3 of the same. This becomes blue, which makes these blue. But these have to be the same, and for the same reason, so these have to be yellow. Now, what can I do here? Well, these are the same, so they can't be yellow. So these are blue. These are the same, so they can't be blue. Those are yellow, so this has to be blue. And these are the same because so these have to be yellow. And I've got 5 of the same color in the box, so yellow is odd. So I tossed a coin, it was 50-50, and I got that correct. There was no guarantee that I was going to get that correct. So now I know that blue is even, which is what I was going to change it to if I got that wrong. So that becomes yellow, that becomes yellow. This becomes yellow, this becomes blue. This becomes blue because I've now got all 5 yellows in the box. I've got 4, so this becomes yellow because I had 4 blues in the box. Now, what comes next? Now, these would be the same, and this would be different. These would be the same. This would be different, but that doesn't tell me what that's going to be. Does it? I'm going to get rid of this grey. Oh. Am I going to get rid of this grey? I don't know that it's helping me. Like, I know that those 3, I don't think that grey is helping me at this point. I can only put 1 more even in here. I can only put 1 more odd in here. I can only put 1 more odd in here, and it has to go in here. These both have to be even, which means this is even, which means this is odd. Now I've got all of the evens in the box. That is odd. Those are odd. That is even. That is odd. I can only put 1 more odd down here, and it has to go on here. These are both even. This is all the evens in the row. These are all odd. Which means this is even. Now these have to be the same. This has to be different. So it's either odd, odd, even, even, or even, even, odd, odd. But that's always going to force that to be different, and I can't tell which way that goes. So those 2 share a parity. And I've got an even and an odd in here. these are all the same. And those were different to those, of course. So that is the same as those. But I don't see why they can't all be odd. So is this the point where I need to do Sudoku? Maybe. So I need to put 9 in one of those two. What else do I have? 6 is in here somewhere, which puts 6 in one of those two. Because 6 can't go here, so 6 in this box has to go over here, which puts 6 in one of those two. Which means, well, I knew I couldn't put 6 there. These are, like, once you get evens down with only 3, those are 2, 4, and 8, which, is that useful to do? So what's the nature of one of these lines? So that's either going to be 2, 4, 4, 6, or 6, 8. So this can never be 1 or 9. So this is 3, 5, or 7. Similarly, this can be anything because this could be 1, 3, 3, 5, 5, 7, or 7, 9. So that doesn't place the same restriction. But where you've got 2 evens on a line, like here, that cannot be a 9. That has to be the 9. Which puts 3 in one of those two. So where you've got something like this, so where you've got an even on a line, it has to be surrounded by its 2 odds. So if this was a 6, this would be 5, 7, and it can't be. Because this would have to be 5, 6, 7, and it can't be. So that's not a 6, this is a 6. So this is 4 or 8, with that being 5 or 7. This is very, very strange. This is 9 on a Renban line. This has to be 8 and 7. So this is... Okay, so these are 2, 4, 6, but 2 has to go on the line because it's going to go 6, 5, 4, or 4, 3, 2, because, well, no, that can't do a 5. So that has to be a 3. This is 2, 4, this is 6, and this is 1. So this is 3 or 5. That is an incredibly clever concept. Well done, Xeon. This is how we managed to come up with such amazingly cool puzzles for the pack, because we've got people coming up with stuff like this. So these are 1, 3, 7. This one can't be 3. That's forced, isn't it? Because if this was 7, it'd have to go 6, 5, and I can't put 5 on this. So 7 can't connect with 1 or 3 on a 3-cell Renban. So this has to be 1, 3. This has to be 2, which takes 2 out of those and puts 2 into there. The only digit I'm missing is 7. 7 can't connect to 3. This is 5, so this is 6. These are now, well, 2, 4, and 6, which they always have been. These are 5, 7, and 9. Now, 2, 3, yeah, that can't be a 2 because it doesn't get to 5, 7, or 9. 9, 8, not 9, 8, yeah, 9 can't get down to 6, so that's not 9. So, oh, and there's a 7 looking at it. That's a 5. So there's no 5 in either of those. So there's now 4 can't get up to 7 or 9. That's an 8. That's a 4, which makes that a 5. That's a 4. I've got to be able to grow this parity out though, don't I? I've obviously missed a parity trick. So I've got to put a 3 in there somewhere. I have missed a parity trick. There is a 2 in here because 2 can't go in that cell anymore. So if there's a 2 in here, then this can't be 7, and 2, it can't be 5 either because these have to be 2 and the next digit, 2, 3, this has to be 2, 4, and this has to be 3. So this is an 8. Now, 8 can't connect, 8 can only connect to 2 odd digits, 7 and 9, so this becomes a 1. There's a 7-9 pair. 8 can only connect to 2 odd digits, 7, 9. 2 can only connect to 2 odd digits, 1 and 3, so this becomes a 5. Okay, so these are 2, 4, 6. That's not 6, so I've got a 2, 4 pair. So it depends on whether that's odd or even, doesn't it? But I've got to put a 3 in one of those two. I'm missing something. I'm missing something blatant, I'm sure. Is it to do with this? So these are the same as that. And these are different. So those are different. I can't see where I run out of colour on those. Like, where do I get a conflict? So there's a 2 in one of those? There has to be a 2 in one of those. So the last even has to appear in there. They have to be odd. Which means purple is odd because I can't put 4 more odds in the box. So purple becomes yellow, green becomes blue. That's the trick I was missing. So this is not a 3 anymore. This is the 3. Now 3 can only go with 1 or 5. That's not the 2. This is the 2. Wait a minute. If that's 2, that's 4, that's 6. That's 2, that's 4. This is just Sudoku. Now 1 can't go down. It can't be. That has to be 5. Because to put a 1 in here, I'd have to put a 2 there, and I don't have 1. So this now has to be 4. These are 6 and 8, and I know the order. That's the 8, and that's the 6. To connect 6 and 8, I need a 7, and this is a 1. This is so clever. This 3 is looking down, making this 1 and this 3. These are 3, 7, and 9. There's no 7 in there. There's no 3 in there. The 7 9 pair actually makes this a 3. This is so, so clever. Xeon, you are absolutely a masterpiece at this sort of stuff. 1, 2, and 8. Well, that's a 2 because it can't be 1 or 8. So that becomes a blue. These are not blue. And I can't narrow that down. I don't know what just flickered there. Anyway, those are the same digit. Is that what I want to look at? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No. Yeah, 5, 6, 7, and 9. So there's no 6, 7 in those. There's no 5 there. So is it down here now? Well, that cell sees all 4 even digits, so that's odd. These cells see all 4 even digits. They see 2, 8 in the column and 4, 6 in the box. They are odd. So now I've got all of the odds in the top row. That becomes even. So this has to be 2 or 8, and it can't be 8. That's a 2. So now I have to put an 8 in one of those two, which I could have got by Sudoku if I was paying attention. So these are 3 and 9. And that 3 gives me the order. That's the 9, that's the 3. So this is actually a triple, which is 1... Before I do that, let's put that 2 in, shall we? Which is 1, 7, and 8. That's not an 8. That's not a 1 or a 7. That's the 8. So now I know this is even, this is odd. Remembering to use my keyboard for coloring. Now I have to put an 8 down here, and I have to put a 4 down here, which means these are odd. Forgetting to use my keyboard for coloring. I actually know those digits. Those are 3 and 5, and that is resolved. 5 and 3. I shouldn't sound incredulous about that. It shouldn't be surprising to me. This puzzle is really clever. Why have I not been able to pull this off yet? Can this be... So if they're odd, they're 1 and 9. Can they be 1 and 9? Sure, why not? No, they can't be. If these are odd, they're 1 and 9, and there's a 1 in the box. Those are even. These are odd. So these are not 1 and 9, these are 7 and 9, which means that right there is an 8. And this is 4 or 6, giving me a 4-6 pair. This becomes a 2. I can take 2 out of there. The 8 puts 8 there. The 4 puts 4 there, and I have all of the even digits in the box. This is not 4. This is not 8. These are odd, and they are 1, 7, 9. In fact, 1 goes there. This is 7, 9, and I've got a deadly pattern on 7, 9, so it'll get resolved by something, I am sure. It's not a deadly pattern because there'll be something above that looks down. This 1, for example, looks up, making that 7 and that 1, which isn't... Oh, yes, it is, because that becomes a 9, that becomes a 7, that becomes a 9, that becomes a 7, that becomes a 9, that becomes a 7, that becomes a 9, and that becomes a 7, which takes 7 out of both of those. Remember, I'd said that those had to be the same. Well, now we've proved it. That's a 6 because of that 9, so that goes blue. I take 6 out of there. 5, 9, not yet. The 4, however, looks down, making that 6 and 4, which makes that 6. And we're close to done. Do I want to keep colouring or get rid of the colours? Let's keep colouring. So in this row, I need 1, 2, and 8. So 1, 2, 8 go in there. There is a 1 and 2 already, so that becomes an 8, which I colour blue. That becomes 1, which I colour yellow. That becomes 2, which I colour blue. The 1 makes this 8, which I colour blue. 5, 9, I should have coloured, not put an 8 in, coloured yellow a while ago. Now, what do I have to put in? I still have to put in a 1, which goes right there, yellow. Actually, let's look for the 4, because that will be the last. 4 goes there, which is the last blue digit. These become yellow. I can give up on colouring because it's done. These are 5 and 9. The 9 here looks up, making that 5. That becomes 9. That becomes 5, that becomes 9, and that was interference pattern by XeonRisq. That was really, really cool. I think I was a little bit faster at that than I would have been because I've done so many parity puzzles recently, including spending about a day setting one using a similar constraint to this. I didn't have Renban Lines, but I was using a lot of parity dots. Wow. That was really cool. That was very, very clever. I really liked the way that this break-in chain worked down this diagonal. That was very, very clever. I did not see that coming. That was really cool. And the fact that it didn't fully resolve until you'd done some Sudoku, that's the sort of stuff that I find very, very cool. Because while I like a puzzle where you can do all of the parity coloring at the start and you've basically got 2 different puzzles, when you have to bounce backwards and forwards between the two and it's like, should I keep looking for parity, or is it now time to do some Sudoku and try and figure out the logic from the other constraints and everything is always sort of part of the push and pull of an interesting puzzle. Sure, it ramps up the difficulty a little, but, they can't all be ridiculously simple. And that one I think was right in the ballpark for being just a lot of fun. If you're curious about the difficulty ratings, I think we would have rated this one probably about in the probably a harder walk in the park, because some of the concepts and the break-in stuff would have been a little bit tricky, but overall it was something that I don't think I ever felt stalled on it, and there was no having to look for very complex logic. It was all right in front of you. So for the difficulty ratings of the pack, I think that we would have rated this a hard walk in the park, but I'm not the only one who is rating the difficulties on the pack, so I can't say that decisively. If it had made it into the scenic hikes, it would have been definitely an easy hike, but I think it would have been a hard walk in the park, so in the sort of probably last half of the walk in the parks. But I don't know. That was a lot of fun. I hope you enjoyed the puzzle. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you're not a subscriber, please do. I've noticed I'm getting more and more people who are watching and not subscribing. It's up to you. Please like and comment. Please grab the pack. There'll be links everywhere. There'll be one on my end screen where you can get the pack. And if you wish to join us to discuss the pack, or if you're after help, as I will say in the intro video, please jump onto the Sudoku Solvers Discord and join the Bremster discussion channel, where there will be people who are always willing to reach out. If you find it a bit quiet, then please ping me and I will do my best, or find someone who can help you. I'm in Australia, so my time zone may not match yours, so please don't be offended if I don't respond instantly. Yeah, as always, good luck with your solving.